Are you ready to embark on a journey that defies the limits of what you thought was possible? Get ready to see beyond the ordinary, to explore the extraordinary. Welcome to our channel where we learn to leverage the realm of endless possibilities. Join us as we venture into uncharted territories, pushing the boundaries of knowledge and understanding. Prepare to witness the brilliance of human potential as we uncover hidden wonders and unravel the mysteries that lie just beyond our grasp. Together, we will challenge the status quo, embrace innovation, and defy the notion of impossibility. With every step we take, we unlock new realms of knowledge, inspiring others to do the same. It's time to shed the constraints of the present and step into a future where anything is within reach. So, get ready to see beyond current possibilities and embark on an extraordinary journey with us. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a moment of groundbreaking discoveries and mind-bending experiences. Together, we will push the boundaries of what we thought was achievable and open our minds to a universe of infinite potential. Welcome to our world where the extraordinary becomes the new reality. Get ready to see beyond. Big thinkers train themselves to see not just what is, but what can be. Did you know what gives real estate its value? A highly successful realtor who specializes in rural property shows what can be done if we train ourselves to see something where little or nothing presently exists. Most of the rural property around here, my friend began, is run down and not very attractive. I'm successful because I don't try to sell my prospects a farm as it is. I develop my entire sales plan around what the farm can be. Simply telling the prospect the farm has 20 acres of bottomland and 20 acres of woods and is a 20 miles from town doesn't stir him up and make him want to buy it. But when you show him a concrete plan for doing something with the farm, he's just about sold. Here, let me show you what I mean. He opened his briefcase and pulled out a file. This farm, he said, is a new listing with us. It's like a lot of them. It's 43 miles from the center of the metropolitan area. The house is run down and the place hasn't been farmed in 5 years. Now here's what I've done. I spent 2 full days on the place last week, just studying it. I walked over the place several times. I looked at neighboring farms. I studied the location of the farm with respect to existing and planned highways. I asked myself, what's this farm good for? I came up with 3 possibilities. Here they are. He showed them to me. Each plan was neatly typed and looked quite comprehensive. One plan suggested converting the farm into a riding stable. The plan showed why the idea was sound. A growing city, more love for the outdoors, more money for recreation, good roads. The plan also showed how the farm could support a sizable number of horses so that the revenue from the rides would be largely clear. The whole riding stable idea was very thorough, very convincing. The plan was so clear and so convincing, I could see a dozen couples riding horseback through the trees. In similar fashion, this enterprising salesman developed a second thorough plan for a tree farm and a third plan for a combination tree and poultry farm. Now, when I talk with my prospects, I won't have to convince them that the farm is a good buy as it is. I help them to see a picture of the farm changed into a money-making proposition. Besides selling more farms and selling them faster, my method of selling the property for what it can be pays off in another way. I can sell a farm at a higher price than my competitors. People naturally pay more for acreage than an idea that they do for just acreage. Because of this, more people want to list their farms with me, and my commission on each sale is larger. The moral is this: look at things not as they are, but as they can be. Visualization adds value to everything. A big thinker always visualizes what can be done in the future. He isn't stuck with the present. Let's use another example. This one is more in a commercial setting. How much is a customer worth? A department store executive was addressing a conference of merchandise managers. She was saying, "I may be a little old-fashioned, but I belong to the school that believes the best way to get customers to come back is to give them friendly, courteous service." One day, I was walking through our store when I overheard a salesperson arguing with a customer. The customer left in quite a huff. Afterwards, the salesperson said to another, "I'm not going to let a $1.98 customer take up all my time and make me take the store apart, trying to find him what he wants. He simply is not worth it." It's pretty serious, I thought, when our salespeople think of customers as being in the $1.98 category. I decided right then that this concept must be changed. When I got back to my office, I called our research director and asked him to find out how much the average customer spent in our store last year. The figure he came up with surprised even me. According to our research director's careful calculation, the typical customer spent close to $400 in our establishment. The next thing I did was call a meeting of all supervisory personnel and explain the incident to them. Then I showed them what a customer is really worth. Once I got these people to see that a customer is not to be valued on a single sale, but rather on an annual basis, customer service definitely improved. The point made by the retailing executive applies to any kind of business. It's repeat business that makes the profit. Often there's no profit at all on the first several sales. Look at the potential expenditures of the customers, not just what they buy today. Putting a big value on customers is what converts them into big, regular hit runs. Attaching little value to customers sends them elsewhere. A student related this pertinent incident to me, explaining why he'll never eat again in a certain cafeteria. For lunch one day, the student began, I decided to try a new cafeteria that had just opened a couple of weeks before. Nickels and dimes are pretty important to me right now, so I watch what I buy pretty closely. Walking past the meat section, I saw some turkey and dressing that looked pretty good, and it plainly was marked at $2. When I got to the cash register, the checker looked at my tray and said $4. I politely asked her to check it again because my tally was $2.50. After giving me a mean glare, she recounted. The difference turned out to be the turkey. She had charged me 10 cents additional for the turkey. Then I called her attention to the sign, which read $2. This really set her off. I don't care what the sign says. It's supposed to be $2. See, here's my price list for today. Somebody back there made a mistake. You'll have to pay the $2. Then I tried to explain to her the only reason I selected the turkey was because it was $2. If it had been marked any less or more, I'd have taken something else. To this, her answer was, "You'll just have to pay the $2. I did, because I didn't want to stand there and create a scene. But I decided on the spot that I'd never eat there again. I spent about $300 a year for lunches, and you can be sure they'll not get one penny of it. There's an example of the little view. The checker saw one thin dime, not the potential of close to $300. So, how do you determine what your worth is? After a training session a few weeks ago, a young man came to see me and asked if he could talk with me for a few minutes. I knew that this young fellow, not about 26, had been a very underprivileged child. On top of this, he had experienced a mountain of misfortune in his early adult years. I also knew that he was making a real effort to prepare himself for a solid future. Over coffee, we quickly worked out his technical problem, and our discussion turned to how people who have few physical possessions should look toward the future. His comments provided a straightforward, sound answer. I've got less than $2,000 in the bank. My job as a rate clerk doesn't pay much, and it doesn't carry much responsibility. My car is 4 years old, and my wife and I live in a cramped second-floor apartment. But, Professor, he continued, I'm determined not to let what I have got stop me. That was an intriguing statement, so I urged him to explain. In his way, he went on, I've been analyzing people a lot lately, and I've noticed this. People who don't have much look at themselves as they are now. That's all they see. They don't see a future, they just see a miserable present. My friend was really speaking from the heart, and after a moment's pause, he added, if I looked at myself strictly as I am, old car, low income, and cheap apartment and hamburger diet, I couldn't help but be discouraged. I see a nobody, and I be a nobody for the rest of my life. I've made up my mind to look at myself as the person I'm going to be in a few short years. I see myself not as a rate clerk, but as an executive. I don't see a crummy apartment. I see a fine new suburban home. And when I look at myself that way, I feel bigger and think bigger. And I've got plenty of personal experiences to prove it's paying off. Isn't that a splendid plan for adding value to oneself? This young fellow is on the expressway to really fine living. He's mastered this basic success principle. It isn't what one has that's important. Rather, it's how much one is planning to get that counts. I'll say that again. It isn't what one has that's important. Rather, it's how much one is planning to get that counts. The price tag that the world puts on us just about identical to one that we put on ourselves. Here's how you can develop your power to see what can be, not just what is. I call these practice adding value exercises. The first one, practice adding value to things. Remember the real estate example. Ask yourself, what can I do to add value to this room or this house or this business? Look for ideas, make things worth more. The thing, whether it be a vacant lot, a house, or a business, has value in proportion to the ideas for using it. Practice adding value to people. This is our second principle. As you move higher and higher in the world of success, more and more of your job becomes people development. Ask, what can I do to add value to my subordinates? What can I do to help them to become more effective? Remember, to bring out the best in a person, you must first visualize his best. Practice adding value to yourself, our very third principle here. Conduct a daily interview with yourself. Ask, what can I do to make myself more valuable today? Visualize yourself not as you are, but as you can be. Then, specific ways for attaining your potential value will suggest themselves. Just try and see. A retired owner manager of a medium sized printing company explained to me how his successor was picked. 5 years ago, my friend began. I needed an accountant to head up our accounting and office routine. The fellow I hired was named Harry, and he was only 26. He knew nothing about the printing business, but his record showed he was a good accountant. Yet, a year and a half ago, when I had retired, we made him president and general manager of the company. Looking back on it, Harry had one trait that put him out in front of everyone else. Harry was sincerely and actively interested in the whole company, not just writing checks and keeping records. Whether he saw how he could help other employees, he jumped right in. The first year Harry was with me, we lost a few men. Harry came to me with a fringe benefit program, which he promised would cut down turnover at low cost. And it worked. Harry did many other things too, which helped the whole company, not just this department. He made a detailed cost study of our production department and showed me how a $30,000 investment in new machinery would pay off. Once we experienced a pretty bad sales slump, Harry went on to our sales manager and said, in effect, "I don't know how much the sales end of the business, but let me try to help." And he did. Harry came up with several good ideas which helped us sell more jobs. When a new employee joined us, Harry was right there to help the fellow get comfortable. Harry took a real interest in the entire operation. When I retired, Harry was the only logical person to take over. But don't misunderstand, my friend continued. Harry didn't try to put himself over on me. He wasn't a mere meddler. He wasn't aggressive in a negative way. He didn't stab the people in the back, and he didn't go around giving orders. He just went around helping. Harry simply acted as if everything in the company affected him. He made company business his business. We can all learn a lesson from Harry that the "I am doing my job and that's enough" attitude is small, negative thinking. Big thinkers see themselves as members of a team effort, as winning or losing with the team, not by themselves. They help in every way they can, even when there is no direct and immediate compensation or other reward. The fellow who shrugs off a problem outside of his own department with the comment, "Well, that's no concern of mine, let them worry about it," hasn't got the attitude it takes for top leadership. Practice this. Practice being a big thinker. See the company's interest as identical with your own. Probably only a very few persons working in large companies have a sincere, unselfish interest in their company. But after all, only a relatively few persons qualify as big thinkers. And these few are the ones eventually rewarded with the most responsible, best paying jobs. Many potentially powerful people let petty, small, insignificant things block their way to achievement. Thank you for joining us on this captivating exploration of seeing beyond the current possibilities. We hope this video has inspired you to embrace your limitless potential and challenge the boundaries that surround us. Remember, the greatest discoveries, inventions, and transformations in history started with someone daring to envision a future beyond what was considered possible. It's in those moments of audacity and imagination that we unlock the true power of human potential. So, dream big, believe in yourself, and dare to take the leap into the unknown. The world is full of unexplored territories and hidden treasures, waiting for those who are willing to see beyond what others perceive as limits. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to join us on our journey of limitless exploration and be inspired to push the boundaries of what you thought was possible. Together, let's embark on an extraordinary adventure where we see beyond the present, where we embrace the power of possibility and where we shape a future that surpasses our wildest dreams. Keep dreaming big, keep pushing forward, and as always, remember that you have the ability to see beyond the current possibilities. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep exploring, keep believing, and keep seeing beyond.